we're glad to be back. And we're going to talk a little bit about kind of the mobile revolution and how mobile killed the internet. That title to me is awesome. I was thinking about, when thinking about the title that I should use for this presentation, and that song, Radio Killed, or Video Killed the Radio Star, just kept popping into my head as I thought about this topic. Because we're going to talk about how mobile has not necessarily destroyed or killed the internet, but it's really changing the way that we're communicating. And I'm excited to talk about some of the things that we've got going on here at ParentLink. So first of all, our goals. So my goals today, we're going to talk about some of the smartphone trends and some of the research that's kind of out there. And there's a lot of things swirling out there in the, on the internet, and a lot of research that's being done. And I want to highlight 4 different things today in the short period of time we're together, and maybe inform you of some things that you've never really heard about or seen before. And then the second thing I want to do is I want to try to inform you and convince you to take a second look at ParentLink's mobile solution, because we think we've come up with something really great, and we're excited about how we match up well with some of these trends that we're seeing in the mobile space. We'll have some question and answer kind of towards the end of the presentation, but feel free to ask any question. I'm sure, Amy, go ahead and interrupt me if there is a question that kind of pops up, and we can take a pause and answer anything during the presentation itself. But that's kind of the goal today and kind of what we're going to be focusing on. So we're going to talk about a branded district app and how it applies to schools, cities, and businesses. So here's some of the trends, and 4 things that we're going to talk about that are important to know about the changes to mobile communication and the way that we're communicating. So trend number 1, we're all getting smartphones. It's amazing to me, and to many of us here at ParentLink, and if you haven't seen this yet, hopefully it amazes you, just the penetration and the number of people that are starting to utilize smartphones. And we've had some research here, this is from a combination of Pew Research and Nelson Research, that's projecting that by the start of next school year, 4 out of 5 parents are going to own and be using a smartphone. There's going to be 80% penetration by the start of that next school year. And the trend is continuing to grow and grow, and it's amazing how fast we're starting to utilize these devices. And I know for myself, I've been using it for years, and it's now become just a centerpiece of how I consume information and how I go about doing my work or the things at home and everything around me. So we're trending to where we're starting to all get smartphones, and the smartphone penetration is just unbelievable. Situation and trend number 2. We're consuming information on the go. And this really is something that we're seeing that's quite astounding. This is some research that comes about from Morgan Stanley Research in combination with ComScore here. They're projecting that by the end of this year, we're going to hit a kind of a tipping point. In that, we're going to be consuming information and utilizing mobile smartphones and mobile technology versus a traditional desktop computer. Now, this just amazes me when I first think about it, but really, it's already kind of happening. We're probably seeing it around us all the time, in that we're consuming more and more information on our mobile devices, especially our smartphones, versus our traditional desktop computer. I have a desktop computer at home, and that thing would just collect dust like crazy if it weren't for my 2 little 5-year-olds who have an online class that they need to take, a couple different times a week on that desktop computer. Everything else is either done through my iPhone or through my iPad and through these mobile devices. So that's an interesting trend that we're seeing, and that the projection is that that's going to continue, that gap is continue going to increase, and that we're going to be consuming information on the go with our mobile devices versus our desktop computers. Trend number 3, we're engaged more than ever. Because now we have so much information in our palm of our hands, we're consuming that information on the go, we are accessing information at a much higher rate. This also comes from Pew Research. 88% of smartphone users access the internet with their smartphones every single day. So we're accessing information more often and wherever we're at. And what's amazing here when you think about this in regards to the impact to school districts and their different demographics, we're seeing that it doesn't matter if you come from a low-income or a high-income household. Either scenario, you're utilizing a smartphone. In fact, many low-income families, they don't have an internet service provider at home. They might not have a laptop or a desktop computer or anything like that, but they're using their smartphones as a primary source for their internet connection. And that's how they're accessing information. It amazes me. In my local congregation, I work with a lot of the youth, a lot of the young men specifically, from ages 12 to 18. And it amazes me how many of those kids already have smartphones and how many are accessing information in that way, and how it's easier for me to communicate with them via text message or some sort of a push notification versus calling them or sending them some sort of an email. And that is a real trend that we're seeing, and it's really important to understand this, the way that we're accessing information and how this is becoming a primary source of internet for a home. It doesn't matter now whether you come from a low income or high income, that gap is starting to close because of this mobile revolution that we're seeing. And then trend number 4, the last trend here, is that we want it mobile, but we want it to be native. So what do we mean by this? Here's some research that's been done by Nelson Research. So this is time spent using mobile apps versus mobile websites. So there's been kind of this back and forth whether, we should take everything and just create mobile websites or the current websites we have, or whether we should create mobile apps, native mobile apps that are able to utilize the features of your device. And Nelson came out and said, and this is actually old research, you can see here, this is in March of 2012, I need to update this. We're seeing that we're consuming more and more information and spending much more time utilizing mobile apps versus a mobile website. So we want things mobile, but we prefer to consume information in a native mobile app experience. And I know for myself that's very, very true. It's one of the first things I look for whenever I go to interact with some sort of a business, whether it's Southwest Airlines or whether it's someone who's partnering here with ParentLink. We determine, do they have a mobile app? Is it easy for me to access information through a native mobile experience? Because that's so much easier, so much better, so much more enjoyable than going to some sort of a mobile website, even though it looks good in my screen. There's a lot more feature-rich capabilities in a native mobile app. So what does this all mean then? So the end result is, if you're wanting to reach your audience, you need to consider a native mobile app on a mobile device. Anything else right now, and probably in the years to come, just like stated here, is going to be less effective. So it's time to go mobile. Because of these trends, and kind of the history that ParentLink has in creating communication tools, at ParentLink we determined it was time to provide a premier mobile solution. And along with a lot of organizations out there creating mobile apps, right, we felt that was the direction to go. And we feel like that we've put together something that fits the needs of school districts. And because it fits well with school districts, we think it also bleeds over well to cities and even to local businesses. And we'll talk specifically a little bit about what that looks like. But there were 4 things that we talked about here at ParentLink when we determined, hey, you know what? We're seeing some of these trends, and we want to be able to develop mobile apps. And we determined we needed to have four kind of pillars, I guess, as part of our business model. Number 1, we wanted our mobile app to be professional. We wanted our mobile app to be something that a school district or a business or a city could be proud of, that looked like it was built by some premier web developers, mobile app developers, versus something that maybe it looks like it was created by someone, as a school project or something else. We wanted to make sure that it had a professional feel to it and it had the right tools and capabilities that gave it that feel. Number 2, we wanted to make sure that we utilize all the experience that we currently have in K through 12 We've been working with school districts for over 20 years and doing a lot of things with regards to notification, to web hosting, to grade posting, to all those things. We knew that experience was important and that we could leverage that experience, and with that experience, we could provide a premier mobile app for school districts. Number three, we knew it had to be relevant. I know that if I open up a mobile app and there really isn't anything there that draws me to open it up again, it's probably going to be deleted. It's going to sit on my phone and I'm never going to come back to it. So we knew that we needed to create a mobile app that was relevant, that has information that was relevant to every individual user, that they could customize their experience versus just kind of being pushed whatever was available and whatever was there. Relevancy was key. And then lastly, we determined that we needed to develop something that was easy. We didn't want to create any extra work for school officials or city officials or business owners. We needed to take that away from them and organize our business model to where we could absorb all the work, to getting it set up, to helping it be deployed, to helping manage the downloads, all those different pieces of being a premier mobile app organization. And so it needed to be easy. So I wanted to take just a few moments here and show you some of the things that ParentLink has come up with, and then talk about how they relate to some of these pillars and some of the trends that we're seeing here. So I'm going to exit out of here and open up my smartphone, and hopefully if the technology works correctly, we'll be able to see it on the screen. All right, perfect. You should be able to see that there on my screen. So I'm kind of mirroring my iPhone here. I'm going to walk through some of the things that we have going on with our mobile apps. So first of all, the important thing that we determined is that we wanted to create a mobile app that was branded for each organization. So that image that you saw there on my Prezi presentation, as well as what you can see here, is that each mobile app, a user will search for the name of the school district, in this case here what we're looking at, and that's exactly what we'll see on the App Store, whether it's on the Apple Store or the Android Google Play Store. And that created a sense of loyalty, right? A sense of ownership. You strengthen your brand when you do something like that. And that when I download an app, it's mine, and I'm able to see that I have it on my device and customize it the way that I would want to have it customized. So being able to make it branded was very, very important. And we wanted to do that work for our clients, not have them to have a designer to set some of that stuff up, allow us to kind of absorb some of that work. So we're going to open up Westdale City Public Schools and use that as an example here to kind of see some of the things that we're doing. So if we pull into Westdale City Public Schools, the first thing we land on here is what we call our home screen, and it's kind of the face of the mobile app. Every app kind of has a similar framework and similar organization. And what you're seeing scrolling across the front here are top stories and images that are pulling from a variety of different locations. We have icons across the bottom, and on the second page here you can see a lot of different icons. I'll explain some of these. And these icons are completely customizable. Everything about our mobile app, you can change the order, you can change the image, however you'd want to set that up. But first, let's jump in here and talk about the news. So if I was to click on the news portion here, the news section of Westdale Public City Schools mobile app is a one-stop shop for all things related to news and events that are happening at the school district. You can see here we're pulling information from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, some RSS feeds. Everything's kind of here. A user can then come, select one of those news sources. They can see the image, read the news source, and click to view the full article if they want to do something like that. What's powerful about this mobile app, and which is patent-pending technology that ParentLink has, is the ability to layer information on top of each other in the customized experience that they want. Everywhere in the ParentLink mobile app, you'll see a little gear on the top right corner. If you click on this gear, it provides the user to select the information that is relevant to him or her. So if I was only interested in seeing all the different news sources for Brooklyn Technical High School, I can select that. And if I'm not necessarily interested in what the YouTube channel is at the New York Department of Education, I can deselect that. So you kind of get the idea. I can select the information that's relevant to me. Once I hit done, now my front screen here changes automatically according to only those filters, only those organizations which I have selected. And you can see here that it's a customized personal experience. That's important. That's the relevancy that we were talking about to make this My Mobile app information that's relevant to me. The sports and the calendar sections of the mobile app are organized in a similar fashion. So if we go into sports, if the school district has some sort of a blog or a news feed, we're able to tie in directly with that. Sports scores can be selected by entering the organization that you want to select and then entering the sports. This information is automatically pulled into the app without the district having to do anything. We pull this information from maxprep.com or sometimes highschoolsports.com, some of these sources where they're already keeping scores for your organizations, for your districts, for your schools. And we're automatically integrating with those and pulling that information in. If the sports team has some sort of a website or the district has some sort of a sports site, we're able to highlight that as well, layering them on top of each other and allowing a user to come in and select exactly what they would want to see here. So in a very similar fashion, the sports section of the mobile app is a one-stop shop for the sports lover, for any parent, any student, right, wanting to become involved in the sports academics at the school. Next is calendar. So calendar, same type of idea, but here's some really cool things about it. Because this is a native mobile app, you have the ability to copy a lot of calendar events, or all the calendar events, to your own mobile device. So if I was a parent or a community member and I said I'm very interested in what's happening here at the high school again, and I have a student here at the high school also, all right, I hit done. Now I can see that there's some events that are happening on my calendar here. Let's take a look at these. So no after-school activities. If I wanted to then copy this event to my own calendar, it's as simple as pressing a button here to add the calendar. All of a sudden, this event has now been added basically to my brain. Because that's how I know about everything that's kind of happening, is according to kind of the calendar that I have on my phone here, or my Google Calendar, or however I have this set up. But now, with the click of a button, I'm able to take that information that the school district has published and put it on my own personal calendar. And this is a very familiar format to any Apple users here, again, because we format it to feel like a native experience here on the smartphone device. So powerful ability here to be able to copy these events, to layer calendars on top of each other, and to have a one-stop location for everything related to calendar information at the district. Okay, so news, sports, and calendar. Usually those are the highlights and what districts like to put on the front page here. And they're set up in a similar fashion where you can customize your experience in each one of those for the information that's relevant to you. So come to the next page, we'll shift gears a little bit. A couple different unique things here. Push notifications. Push notifications modernize the way that you communicate out to your constituents. Again, whether that's students, parents, community members, employees, other businesses, administrators can send out push notifications quickly and easily to anyone who's downloaded this mobile app. And again, like everything else, a user has the ability to customize their experience and say, I only want to follow, I'm only interested in communication that comes from whichever organization. And you can kind of see here what the push notifications might look like. And what's powerful about this also, what's different is this, it's similar to a text message, and you're probably all very familiar, this is a more technical group here, you're probably all familiar with push notifications and text messaging, but what's powerful is that you're not limited to the 160 characters here like you would be with a text message. You're notified in a very similar way, but then you're able to push more information than you would with a traditional text message. Okay, so you can see the push notifications I've been pushing here to the school district. In light of recent events that happened in Connecticut and some of the other tragedies that have happened across the country, we determined it was important to put together a tool that allowed for, whether that's parents, students, administrators, to quickly and easily and anonymously submit tips and information to their appropriate school administrators or district administrators. And that's exactly what we have here with what we call our tip line. So an example of what this might look like, everything's customizable. If you want it to pop up and say, if this is emergency, call 911, you can. With the tip line here, it's a quick and easy way to submit a tip by submitting whatever information that you have here, again, built into your iPhone, so you have the ability to type right here on your phone, the ability to take a picture or to choose a photo that you might have. You then select a category. A category is customizable. A district can set up whatever categories they'd want here, whether those are positive categories, whether those are things like bullying, like harassment, vandalism, those type of things. You can select the school that you're located at, and then the ability to make this anonymous or not anonymous. So if you wanted to have your name be submitted to the administrator or to whoever is receiving that tip on the back end, you have the ability to set up your information right here and enter it in manually. Also, a neat little feature, we've made the ability to turn on your GPS location, to be able to turn that on and off. We've seen some districts use this in a way of doing maintenance. So being able to take a picture of maybe graffiti or a broken pipe or something that they're seeing at the district, on the district grounds there, be able to include the GPS location. Once it's submitted to the determined administrator, they have the exact location where that tip was submitted. You can see here again it uses the mobile interface that's native to the app here to be able to pinpoint exactly where that tip might be coming from. So a tip line tool, fast, easy, low barrier to be able to submit tips, and packed full of different features that allows them to kind of customize how they want to submit their tips as well. You can see here on this page, you have our social media sites, and with a mobile device and a mobile app, you have the power to increase your social influence and increase your followers to engage in those conversations that are already happening in the social spheres, and then influence some of those conversations as well. With any of our customers who partner with ParentLink, they have the ability to customize and set up an unlimited number of custom links. If they want to link to the cafeteria payment system, which is kind of listed here, or they can pay their lunch balance online, you can link to that. If they want to link to something that highlights library books or cafeteria balances, or anything that the district or your organization is really trying to highlight to drive traffic to, this is the place to put it. Because this is going to be your one-stop shop, the source for everything related to your organization. The Superintendent Corner was something we created to help, whether the superintendent or whether that's the CEO of your company or the city mayor, to highlight the vision and the direction that he or she is taking things. So this is an example of the superintendent here had a blog that he or she might be posting to. We can link to that to provide an opportunity to quickly and easily view some of those blog posts. And then also provide some sort of a bio to highlight some of the experience and expertise and leadership skills that the superintendent in this case has. Superintendent Corner can be very, very powerful. Directory, last piece here on this main page I want to talk about. Directory is taking everything that you have mobile. So if we wanted to look, for example, at the Brooklyn Technical High School, because it's built right into my smartphone, one-touch call right here on the phone number. I can email the school directly right here from my smartphone device as well. Have the ability to find the location for the school. Where exactly is that located, and can I get directions there? And then, of course, linking to any type of a website or any type of a page which you'd want to highlight for your organization. Each organization has these same features and same tools set up to where it makes it easy for a user to come in and find out information about that school or organization. We import staff and principal and any information you want to show in regards to staff for each school. So if we look down here, look at the staff. We're looking at the staff here for the technical high school here. We can import pictures. They can show their phone information, their phone number, their email address, and any type of class information, class websites. Those type of things can all be highlighted here in the mobile app as well. All pulling this information into one place. So the directory, powerful, powerful also to be able to have kind of a mobile directory built in with all the sweet features to be able to have one-touch communication and everything right here in the palm of your hand. Okay, there's even more. Here's what happens when you build a mobile app that's native to the mobile device. Under the settings page here, there's a couple different things I want to highlight. First of all, the ability to follow a specific school, and from here you can kind of set it generally for your entire mobile app to be able to follow only one or two schools, however you want to have that set up. But what's amazing about this is that we have been able to integrate with translation services like Google and Bing, and we offer translation of everything inside of our mobile app into a different language. So let's take a look at this. So if we were to select a language and select this over to Spanish, for example, it takes just a moment for it to set up the translation for everything, and then we click home. All right. So you can see here all the app icons are translated, of course. But here's what's amazing. So everything that goes through our mobile app, which we pull in either from your website or from your social media site, something like that, all of that is now translated. For example, if we come back into news and we look at this Twitter post that was posted in English by either the district or school or whoever this was posted by, this has now been completely translated. Facebook and Twitter do not even provide something like this where they can translate automatically some of their posts to these different languages. Now, you might be saying, well, gosh, yeah, it's not perfect translation because Google sometimes does a robot talk thing and there's different accents. And I agree. The translation might not be perfect. Although when it comes to Spanish, your translation is getting very, very good, especially with Google's translation. But this provides now a way for a Spanish-speaking parent to engage with a school or school district and to start speaking and understanding the language of education at a much better rate. And so everything here has been translated, even the push notifications. So those push notifications that I showed you up on the top left corner that were sent out in English, they've automatically been translated to Spanish. Amazing. That just blows my mind that can magically happen to where everything in the app has been translated to a different language. And you can see here that the translation can occur in over 60 different languages that we've set up and that we provide to each one of our users. And what's awesome is that if the smartphone device is already set up globally, under the general settings to be set to a certain language, the ParentLink mobile app will automatically recognize that and adjust to that. And it'll automatically be set up in that language. Okay, last thing I want to show here is part of the mobile app. And that is when we're able to then integrate with a student information system and pull in very, very relevant and specific student information system for parents to access. So in the top right, I kind of skipped over this. It was the student info corner here. This is kind of like your parent portal for parents to come in, enter a login ID and secure password, and then have the access to some additional information related to their student. So I want to show you here exactly what this might look like. So, for example, I'm the father, Cliff Huxtable, and you can tell this is a demo app, right? So, and I want to look at Theo here and look at some of the class information and how he's doing. So I pull up Theo and open up class information, and I'm able to see exactly the grades and assignments that Theo has in his classes. So right here I'm seeing that he's doing all right in basketball, but he's getting an F in geometry. So I'm able to drill down a little bit more. Well, what's happening here? Marcus Rodriguez, okay, I know the teacher. Is he missing assignments? Is that what's happening? He is. There's 3 assignments here that he's missing. Okay, so the parabola assignment. He told me he did that assignment. Dang you, Theo. All right. How about his attendance? Has he been skipping out of class? Maybe that's why he's struggling. Oh, yeah, there is one attendance violation. Looks like on June 10th, yeah, he was absent there for geometry. But wait a second. He should have been excused for that absence. That was an excused absence. It wasn't an unexcused violation. All right, let me just call the school. Well, right here, it's built in. I can call or email the school right here from my smartphone device. I want to email the teacher as well.
up on the top right corner where it has that little envelope. We click that. Right here we can send a quick email to the teacher. How can I help? How can I get more involved? How's Theo doing? If you miss, is there some specific homework that I should really be focusing on that would make a bigger difference in raising his grade? Can you see now that at my fingertips as a parent, right, I have all this information and I'm much more empowered now to engage with my student. It's really scary, actually, when you think about it. I think of my parents if they had this information and the ability to have conversations with me. Hey, Jonathan, do you have homework tonight? No, Mom, I don't. Nothing at all. Okay, well, actually, it looks like you do. God dang it. Okay, so we were able to pull in class information. Not only that, we can pull in, like you saw there, attendance information or cafeteria balance information, assignment information. This is all data that we're integrating with and pulling in to the mobile app here. And we're really good at that. We've been doing that for years. We've been pulling information as part of our notification products. We've needed to pull in attendance information and grade information and all that so we can generate automatic attendance calls, custom messaging, those type of things. Of course, there's all the contact information you can see down here, and Cliff has his contact information and students listed here as well. Again, all this information being pulled from the school district. From the school district's student information system or student management system. But wait, there's more. And this just blows my mind. Every time I show this, I'm thinking, this is amazing. So you may have noticed that under the notifications box there, it went from 3 to 11. So now there's some additional notifications. And let's see what Cliff has available here. Down below is the inbox. And these are some of the notifications that we've kind of already looked at. There's the Fall Festival and the Gifted program. We can also push via daily attendance calls and some of those things if the district is utilizing our notification tool. But at the top, there's something called academic alerts. Amazing. So I, as a parent now, at the top right corner, I can select the gear again. I can set up customized alerts for myself to alert me when a certain action occurs. So for example, if I wanted to be alerted if a class grade for any of my kids ever dropped below a certain threshold, I can customize and set that up. So I'm an Asian parent, and I want to know every time that it gets below an A-, I set that up, and I will then receive a push notification, an alert, telling me that a class has dropped below an A-. So you can see there, where there's the class grade updated, if there's a new message, if there's a low score on an assignment, if the assignments have been updated, if there's missing assignments. These are all the different, what we're calling academic alerts, because we're kind of that source of that information. We're pulling it in. We're creating this app experience. We can then kind of manipulate that data and create an interface here that allows parents to set up their customized alerts. That's just so powerful and so neat. Once again, focusing on parental involvement and engaging parents at a whole new level and doing it where they're consuming information, where they're at, on the move, on the go. So academic alerts, powerful, powerful thing. So that's a quick summary of our, of kind of the mobile app for school districts. Now some of you, I don't know the audience here, I know there's a mix of school districts and municipalities and businesses. We've kind of taken the same model, the same framework, and created the ability to also have mobile apps for those organizations. And I want to quickly show you some of those. I focus mainly on the school district and the education portion of our business, but there is a team of individuals who work more with the cities and with businesses. So let's look at cities really fast. So I have American Fork City here. We've designed and built their app. Let's take a quick look. So American Fork, it's set up very similar to what we just saw, but they've made a few changes. They took our tip line tool and they turned it into something which they call service requests. And so they have the ability here to be able to request services. Anyone who uses the app can request services such as those here. There's drainage, road maintenance, sign maintenance. We have a great story where one of their community members, one of their household members, they were so frustrated about a pothole that was continually bothering the community there in kind of one of their side streets. Well, they used the app. They took a picture of the pothole. They assigned it to the correct category. They submitted that, And the city said, this is amazing. We have now our constituents able to submit those to us and inform us in a much easier, in a way that we didn't have to do that much work. We really didn't have to campaign to really kind of to get that information. That's the kind of the idea with service requests. Okay, of course, there's news, calendar information, all that the city might be highlighting. They provide a link directly to their online, their bill pay system that they have, so users can pay their bills online here. They can do the push notifications to inform, the people about city events or about needing to pay their bills or about different changes. And of course, being able to highlight any of their social media, any of their initiatives that they might have. Places is a really neat tool that was built specifically for cities and businesses. If we look at Places, this is basically a business directory. So if they wanted to find what are some nice places to eat here in American Fork City, right? We're able to pull all that information from data that the city already has and pull it right in here into the mobile app. So we really want to go to Del Taco. Look at that. Hours, the phone number, the address, the website, all that information, again, right here in the palm of their hand. So that's kind of a brief overview of kind of the city. And it's very, very similar setup with the language translation, all the same kind of capabilities, branded to their colors and their, and their name and things like that. That's what we've kind of done for cities. For businesses, a great example that we have here is the Clyde companies. So they're a pretty big organization here that subcontracts out to a lot of other organizations, and we've worked with them to help create their kind of mobile app for employees and for anyone else that might be interested in following the happenings there for the Clyde company. So a few things here that are unique to businesses that we've created. News, notifications, projects, similar type of thing, the ability to set up links to different places. They have company history, and they go to their YouTube page, and they have their web page for a lot of different things. They've used the superintendent kind of tool or the mayor tool here to do an employee highlight, and they're actually highlighting right now their CEO. But they have plans each week or each month periodically to kind of change that and to highlight different employees and some of the things that they're doing there. They use this thing called Snag a Pick, which is kind of interesting. It's similar to the tip line tool for school districts, but they've changed it to where it allows their subcontractors to kind of start sending some pictures of different things that are happening on the construction sites. And I know the marketing director there, and he's kind of put together a little campaign to try to capture some of the good things that are happening outside in all the construction sites. And for the best picture that's taken, right, there's a prize and different things that are highlighted that come about because of that. But you can see how their categories are a lot different, but very similar framework and similar functionality that they kind of have here. And then, of course, the directory, similar type of situation where all their subcontractors or sub-organizations, right, an easy way for someone to give them a call, look them up, check them out on their website, and things like that. So similar setup and similar situation that we have with school districts, we've been able to kind of model that and use that same framework for cities and for local businesses to utilize as well. And we still think that it is very, very powerful for those entities also. Okay. So let's come back then and kind of wrap things up here and leave a few minutes for question and answer. Okay, so that should give you kind of a brief overview of some of the stuff that we've been doing, how we've tried to respond to these massive changes in mobile technology. And in summary, the world's going mobile. And with pricing for school districts starting as little as 50 cents per student, ParentLink can take you there affordably and with quality design and customization. Built off being professional, being relevant, premier, and an easy app that we can set up. So as this webinar kind of comes to a close, I want you just to remember, right, that mobile is how most of us are consuming information today. We're doing it in a variety of different ways, but it's all consistently mobile. And to best engage with your students, your parents, your community members, your businesses, your customers,
whoever, anyone really, a mobile channel needs to be open, and it needs to be considered. And ParentLink is the leader in developing and implementing and deploying mobile apps. We have hundreds of mobile apps that we've developed for school districts right now, and we're partnering with many cities and many businesses as we're doing this also, because we feel like it fits so well. So we invite you to learn more. My contact information is here. I'd love to figure out some time, find a time when we can sit down and see if, hey, is this something that might work for your school district or your organization? Thank you, and I'll answer any questions anyone might have right now. Amy, I appreciate, again, this opportunity.
Thanks, Jonathan. And again, if anybody does have any questions, feel free to put those through on the chat or the Q&A. And Jonathan, it looks like our first question, what are the pricing tiers for schools?
Yeah, perfect. So we have a 3 pricing tier. So we start off with our 50 cents per student solution, and that's everything that I've shown you minus anything that requires us to pull data to integrate with your student information system. So if we need to pull data for grades, assignments, library balance, cafeteria balance, that takes a little bit more work. But everything else, it starts at 50 cents per student. To pull in the grade information and the academic alerts and all those things that were related to those data, that specific student data, it's $1.50 per student. And then we provide a 3rd tier option, which I didn't even really talk about today, but that's kind of our enterprise option that includes not only our mobile app solution, but also our notification services for automated attendance calls, for custom calling, emails, text messages, everything related to kind of notification. We sell that at $3.25 per student. So those are our 3 tiers: 50 cents for the branded district app, $1.50 for our branded district app plus the student-specific data, and then $3.25 for our mobile app, plus our notification services, plus the teacher messaging piece, plus attendance management piece. There's some other things, like I said, I didn't even talk about today, but those are our 3-tier prices.
Okay, perfect. Next question, what does the school use to enter the base information?
I'm sorry, say that again. I broke up a little bit.
The question was, what does the school use to enter the base information?
So we're hoping that the school really doesn't have to do anything that they're not currently doing right now. So we pull information from RSS feeds, from your calendars that we're going to sync with using your iCal format, from your social media sites, of course. All that information, that information where you have those pages and those images, we're going to do all the work and try to take our best at pulling that information first. So what usually happens in implementation is we'll get things squared away, we'll get an assigned account manager and project manager to your account, and then we're going to go ahead and start developing the icons, and we're going to go out and search for your different school websites and for your social media sites, and we're going to integrate with your RSS feeds and your calendars, and we're going to do all that, and about 2 weeks later, we're going to come back to the school district, and we'll say, here's what we have, here's what we've done, and you haven't had to do a single thing. You have your news, you have your grades, you have your calendars. Now, what would you like to customize on your app now? What would you like to tweak, and what would you like to change? And we hopefully absorb a lot of that work for you.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. Just one more reminder, if you do have any questions, put those through on the chat or the Q&A. The next question, what databases do you read?
Yeah, so we have our own piece of software that we're really proud of. It's called ParentLink, that can basically pull information from a lot of different student information systems. So there is yet a student information system that I'm aware of that we don't integrate very well with. So, of course, there's the big ones. You've got your Power School, you've got your Skyward, you've got your eSchool Plus, you've got your eSchool Max, you've got your Synergies. A lot of the Pearson, we're a premier IVR partner with Pearson, so all the Pearson products. Really, if any student information system can export information out of their database, we're able to then import that in. What we'd like to do is integrate using our data link tool, so it's it's almost seamless. You really don't have to do anything. Once you set it up at a scheduled time, it'll automatically pull that data. But it is fundamental for our business to integrate really well with all these different student information systems, and we work really hard at that.
All right, perfect. Oh, it looks like we have another question here. Is there a year, or is this a yearly fee?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a great question. Yes. So the 50 cents, the $1.50, $2.25. Yes, that's a yearly. That's a yearly fee, yearly maintenance, and there's also an upfront implementation charge, and that depends when we look at data link integration, some of those things, but it's no more than $4,000 to $5,000 of upfront one-time implementation fees. Everything else is just based off of the yearly fee of either 50 cents, $1.50, or $3.25. And it's based off of per student. So if your student count is increasing or decreasing, adjustments are made, on a yearly basis.